Hello, and welcome to episode 19 of the FreeGN podcast. I am your host, Danny, and I'm joined by my lovely jubbly co-hosts, Chris
Hello.
and Gary.
Hello!
Now, let's just get this bitch rolling. Who wants to speak about the games they've played this week? Because it's definitely been a week since we recorded the last podcast. It hasn't been like 3 days. Definitely been a
Yes,
week.
it has been a week since
Well-
we last recorded.
Yes, of course.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Chris came around earlier today.
Nice.
So we played some Sonic Mania, had some more phalange fun, broke another
Basically,
sequel.
we're breaking the script again.
Yeah, you keep doing that.
I don't know how they managed to perfectly recreate it, but they really did make it feel like the classics. Like, point for point. It's amazing. There are all sorts of visual glitches, and it's just so much fun to see that in a bunch of new environments.
Yeah.
Won't go into
Oh.
details this time though, because last time we had some issues.
Yeah, all those
With timing.
clips was a bit of a bother. And
So, I mean, you provided the link so that they could see them where I
Yeah.
posted them on Twitter.
yeah. But let's try not to.
Hopefully, the link will stay active.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, who knows?
Uh,
But are there any other games that you have played this week?
Gary,
I played
since you
some
went
more...
first.
Yeah, I started. So I played some more Pokemon Go. The
Mhm.
Spotlight Hour for Finneon was just a bit ago. So I've got that. I've evolved that. That's nice and done. Needed one of those, or one of each of them.
Mm-hmm.
Then I played some more Pokemon with Adam. Decided I'll catch up, and then barely played it
Great.
because I'm a good person.
Brilliant.
Adam, if you're listening, I'm sorry. Beyond that, I mostly seem to recall playing some more Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 with Peter. So shout out to him again.
Hi, Peter.
But off the top of my head, I don't think I've done much more than that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. That's not a lot, considering we've had an entire week. Definitely an entire week to play games.
Well, okay, if it's any consolation, I have done more with regards to getting stuff on Xenoverse 2 than I have anything else, and RNG's a bitch.
Yeah.
It is. Oh, God.
When
it is.
that's your reward system, it's a bitch.
But,
Well, if
Chris,
you're done with that,
yes, Chris,
More or less,
do you
yeah,
want
go for it.
do you want to go, Chris, or should I?
I can.
Okay, go ahead then.
Well, I've continued playing Spore Creatures. I've actually recently completed the main story, so now I get to have fun with the cheat modes. Penis monsters.
I see.
Yeah, I've not done anything crazy yet, but when you have no limit on the body parts you can add to your creature now,
Oh, God.
prepare yourself for the Cthulhu monster.
Chris, I'm so sorry.
What did you do?
The second you were done saying, and now I can have some fun with it, I played the Penis Monsters clip again.
Why did you edit that out?
I don't know.
Why did you isolate that from the time he said penis monsters?
I don't know. I'm a terrible person. I should delete this clip before I have too much power. I'm deleting it. There we go.
Yeah.
It's gone.
I mean, I could fully sabotage us on Twitter,
Oh, God.
so
No,
I also have
don't do
power.
it, Gary.
Why would I do it? This is my Tuesday afternoon.
But Chris,
Yeah,
please go on, and to everybody who listens, Chris didn't say penis monsters. That's not what he's gonna have fun with. That's me being a bastard. Now, please do continue, Chris.
well, saying about a Cthulhu type monster,
Mm-hmm.
then I shall destroy the world.
That's always
Purchase
fun.
of all life.
And then I'm guessing what you're going to do after you've destroyed the world is you'll grab people and put them in the fuck chamber because despotism.
Wow,
right?
that's a callback. It's been a couple of months.
That's a callback.
Well, it has been months.
Yeah, no, it's literally been
But-
months. So.
Done tiny bit more on Xenoblade Chronicles.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've unlocked 3-star missions on solo Monster Hunter Generations.
Oh.
Still not got anyone from the community to play with me.
I mean, I would play with you
Yeah.
if I had the ability to do so, but I
Yeah, well,
I mean, don't look at me. I'm not really big on Monster Hunter, all things considered.
I think it's just those
I mean,
3. Well, on my own. Mania didn't play Xenoverse within this time frame of recordings.
Chris, come on, it's been a week.
don't. Yeah, a week. Yes.
I don't own the game.
Oh, but if that's all the games you've played, should I go on to my extensive list?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I think you should.
I've played Dungeon Painter on Steam. That's it.
It's like MS Paint, but for Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it's just a map making tool on Steam,
Ah.
formatted as a game, and
Interesting.
it's definitely not been less than a week, which is why I've only played that. I mean, obviously. I mean, I also, just before we started, I went in to check to see if the new challenges had had started within the MCC, but it hadn't. So
At the time, didn't it say like 22 hours?
yeah, 22 hours. So I'll be playing that in about a day tomorrow probably. So yeah, I haven't given up on MCC. I'm still gonna keep playing it, and
Hey, Danny,
yeah.
can I just make you now worried?
Oh, of course, I love
You-
being worried.
You and Gary have both said events that can actually date this video.
Oh fuck.
Wait, what? What was that?
If people play along with your Pokemon Go and NCC, Master Chief Collect, yeah, basically they can date this video from the information you have
Do you-
given.
Do you know what, Chris?
I mean, to be perfectly honest, Chris, we normally record on Tuesdays anyway, so I'm in the clear because Spotlight hours are on Tuesdays.
Look, I will say one thing. I'm gonna come clean now. It's only been 3 days since we recorded last, because we had to make a buffer video so that in case something went wrong or somebody was sick, that we'd have a podcast ready for Mondays. So it's been less than a week. Usually we record them once a week, but we recorded one 3 days ago, and then next time we're going to record one in a week, unless, when was it Lewis was ready? 6
I
days?
believe he said. I believe he said he should be fully available on Monday since it's a bank holiday. But if absolutely necessary, I think we could probably push it to the Friday, like before then, if we need to. But it's
But
better.
here's the
It's
thing.
better if we put this out after recording.
Yeah, but basically, next week might be slightly different, but it's not going to be. It's going to be longer than 3 days, so we will have played more games by then. So that's also why I haven't finished Resident Evil 2, the HD remake. I'm still almost done with it, but I took a break from it, and then I was like, oh, let me do some Dungeons and Dragons stuff. So I started writing an entire world. I started making a small campaign, main quests, side quests, NPCs, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy Dungeon Painter because it's gonna have like pre-made assets, but as considering I just want to make like a small thing to try it out, I didn't think that'd be a big issue. You know, I'm just making like a small campaign. And then if anybody from the community wants to play in it, then I can DM that. Because I do know the rules. That said, I'm gonna have to read up on some of the finer details, like
technical side of it.
yeah, like different classes. I know some classes and some of the mechanics and certain spells and stuff, but I don't know all the classes, and I do know how the combat works with the perception and the initiative and the rolling and the plus this with proficiency and all that crap, all that mathematical shite. But
And that's also Danny's dream future.
no, that was my dream future like 2 weeks ago.
When you say 2 weeks ago, are you on about like from episode uploads?
Yes.
There we go.
Okay.
So from episode 16.
Yeah, or something like that.
So yeah, somewhere then.
Yeah, but that's really what I've played. I've played that, and I've been cleaning up I'm cleaning up the cellar a bit, and getting my PlayStation 2 out so I can play Constantine for something.
Oh man, just the idea of getting out the PS2. I mean, I don't have to get out the PS2. It's like right behind me. I could just reach out and touch it.
Oh wait,
Just
I remember.
turn it up again to play.
I completely forgotten. I played a slight amount of Gary's mod because I'm still making.
I didn't make it.
I know you still didn't make it, but I'm making Danny's gauntlet, Danny's Gmod gauntlet. So I've been.
So cocks everywhere.
No, it's basically just like a maze that only has one
You
way
mean
forward.
to tell me? You mean to tell me that Chris is wrong about you putting roosters everywhere? Rude.
Yeah, basically it's hallways that lead to rooms that have a lot of enemies in them, and then it's not like it's not made to you not be able to beat it, but it's made to time how long it takes you to beat it, which is why it's a gauntlet.
Mm.
But yeah, that I played that for a couple of hours. Not really anything special, and that's what I've played this week.
I did just remember something.
These last 3 days. Yes, go on.
Tying into me mentioning Pokemon Go, like last night they announced that they're adding finally my favorite legendary Pokemon, Xerneas, into Pokemon Go. It's only taken them very, very long, but I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, that's nice.
Mm.
Now, let's continue to Dream Futures if anybody has any.
Oh, Dream Future.
Yeah, Dream Future.
I think we should, if I remember correctly, we wanted to ask the community to give suggestions for Dream Futures, but that never seemed to have worked out.
If they've got ideas, post them on the Discord. It'd be easier.
The thing is,
Everyone will be able to.
I hadn't really thought about that because I was always thinking about Dream Futures being our Dream Futures. Like,
I mean, I did just kind of get one, which wouldn't really be gaming, so I'll tie it to Pokemon Go because I think that'd make it better.
well, I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to be gaming. So
I just kind of want to tie it into gaming because it's kind of funny.
yeah, well, I mean,
So
yeah, go ahead, Gary.
so I've randomly had this recurring joke with Lewis recently, just throwing Stonehenge everywhere in the conversation. So I thought, why don't we just decide, let's go to Stonehenge and catch some Pokemon, just for the novelty of it, just because we could.
Yeah, I mean that. I mean, I don't play Pokemon Go, but sure, I'd do that for the novelty of it. That said, I would have to go to England.
It was more
but
for me and Lewis. Chris could probably get involved if he wants.
also knowing you, Gary, it means going outside into a field.
Okay, but like that's the thing. It's to be there near some standing rocks. Stonehenge itself is the ultimate novelty of it. I've got to take a sword though.
No, I mean,
Bit random.
I like that. It's a bit random, but I like that.
Thank you.
Now, I have a Dream Future. It's a bit of an obscure game for us free to play. It's called.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, I am pretty sure it has co-op. I'm quite sure it does. Can't say for certain, but it's called Hobo Tough Life. You play as a homeless person, and then you go around getting scratch cards and looking through bins, and I don't know. I just thought it'd be fun.
You can play
Hobo
alone.
Simulator.
Yeah.
Homeless Simulator. Yes. Yeah. It's got co-op. I'm looking at it now.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah,
I
but
I don't know how much the co-op is, like how many players, but yeah, it's definitely got a co-op.
oh yeah, that's right. Well, if it's more than 2-player co-op, then I would like to play that with you two at some point when it's
If
possible.
not, you could always play it with Lewis. He's trying to set up his.
Yeah, I mean, if I might if Lewis gets his PC, even though I am glad that Lewis might get a PC, but then he's gonna be the supreme PC boy because his PC will be much better than mine. So
Yes, but
Yeah.
if it's any help, Danny, he will be. He will basically likely be doing his own channel and stuff, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and
Because then
he talked
we
about
could guest on
streaming.
his show and vice versa.
Well, yeah, he also talked about how he was going to stream and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if Lewis starts streaming, I wouldn't mind being a mod, helping him out, making sure people don't show up, and those goddamn bots, fucking bots. They're not only an issue here on YouTube, they're also an issue on Twitch. So
yeah,
but yeah,
that's why you find bigger streamers have follower only mode.
Yeah, I said yeah, but I don't really understand. But yeah,
basically, so the only people
from speaking straight away.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. But that is my dream future. And Chris, you don't seem to have one, right?
It is just mainly, hopefully, getting more community involvement.
Okay.
Even if it's just little things.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're people too. Please interact with us. We're lonely.
I mean, honestly, I'm very antisocial. So if you don't want to interact with me, it's up to you. I'll interact with you if you do with me, but. But
yeah.
Okay, so it's not a requirement for Danny, but Chris is lonely.
I'm so lonely.
Okay.
COVID's almost driven me insane.
Chris, you were already insane. Stop lying.
Shut up! They don't need to know that.
Shut up! Shut up!
Right.
Well, yeah. Topic at hand then, boys. Oh fuck! I forgot. What the section we just did was called Dream Future. There we go. Now it's time for the topic.
The main topic.
Yes, and as always, I'm going to give the floor to Chris. I'm ripping the floor off. I'm giving to you. Then I'm giving you a kiss on the cheek and a slap on the buttock.
Okay, then just one question before he starts. What are you now standing on?
He's not. He's hanging from the ceiling in his bondage chair. And he didn't deny it. Right.
I'm not going to deny it.
You said about character creations, but what about the NPCs of games?
Specifically, because there are playable characters too that aren't necessarily optimized by the player.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Give me a chance. Basically, I'm on about characters that you don't have much influence over. So, good example are the generic enemies. What can make them unique, special, or immemorable?
Okay, so let's see. I suppose using their physical characteristics, depending on how varied their appearances might be, to actually create unique methods for them to attack with. Sonic enemies are a good example of this. I mean, you've got those that are designed like wasps, crabs, and things like that, and they've got weapons in various places and so on. So that works out, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Also like setting-based characters or enemies.
Yeah. Like each region has its own, I want to say, wildlife.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be wildlife. I was thinking when Gary said like Sonic enemies, I was also thinking like Eggman robots. Like, so if Sonic is in an area where he's in the sky,
the jetpackers.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was on Twitch for some reason on a tab that wasn't open, and I was on a random person's page, and then the person just started streaming right now, and it was very loud.
Oh.
So I went off that. I'm probably gonna edit the very loud thing out. But
difficulties.
Yeah. Well, it'd probably be fine. But yes, what I was saying, Sonic enemies, like if Sonic's in the sky, there might be like enemies that have rotors that are flying based. Enemies that are suited for the environment.
Or some bird stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically enemies that suit their surroundings and take advantage of their unique designs to attack in creative ways.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about one of my old favourite games, as a weird way to put it, but basically one of my favourite games what's old is Dark Chronicle.
Or Dark Cloud 2 for you US folk.
Yeah. Some of the enemies in the dungeon are normally monsters, but there are some humanoid enemies
Sorry about that randomly lost grip on the phone.
I don't think we
The
heard
most
anything.
apparent one is the
Hmm.
clowns. Yes, clowns are enemies.
I agree. I hate clowns.
I'm neutral on clowns.
I don't even think they're scary. I just don't like them. That's right.
fair.
Yeah,
I'm clown racist.
but
Get over
one
it.
of my
Sorry.
One
Chris,
of my-
continue.
Damn it, Daddy!
I'm sorry. I had to apologize for interrupting you, and I had to interrupt you to apologize for that.
Now apologize again because you interrupted again.
I'm gonna wait until they start speaking, then I can apologize. No. Chris, continue.
Right. One of my favourite bosses, I think, is Caspar. He is half human and half monster.
Mm-hmm.
Because of, and the game actually gives this character's backstory as to why he's so aggressive against humanity. From a young age, he has always been the outcast, hated. It wasn't until his father died that villagers actually started to attack him and his mother, who was human, and drove them to pure isolation, of which his mother then later died from a disease, because no doctor would see her.
Mm-hmm.
So filled
Bastard.
with rage from these people, he just decided he will be more monster than man. Then he
Yeah.
got recruited into Emperor Griffin's army and given powers. Because even though he might be half monster, he didn't look the part. He was human in physical appearance.
Hmm.
When you fight him, you're given some of this as the backstory for him. The bit that always got me was after beating him person to person, he would admit defeat and ask, "Why are you fighting so hard? What is it you want to fight for?" Because he never understood that. And when the two heroes basically gave the reason, he decided who will fight for them.
That's
But
nice.
then he got betrayed by the Emperor Griffin and he became a full monster,
Oh.
unable to control himself.
Oh, that's sad.
So you're now the heroes having to fight someone who started to believe in a better future. It's simple, but it creates such a deeper lore.
Yeah.
You feel more for the character.
Yeah, definitely.
Then, as the character Gaspard's defeated, he has a vision of his mother, him back as a young child, happy, and saying that he's finally found something to protect, and that's where his story ends.
That's bittersweet.
Yeah, the game is full of those little bittersweet moments.
Yeah, I've played a fair bit of it, thanks to you.
But I kind of miss having those bittersweet moments in games. Because what was the last proper game that you had a moment like that in? Where you can feel sorry for the villain.
Let's see. Our silence speaks volumes.
Oh, well, I mean, I just thought of something, but it isn't. I don't know if it's bittersweet, but it's like. Well, actually, it kind of is. It's in Gears of War, right? I don't know how much of the lore of Gears of War you two know, because I haven't really played it.
I know little,
Well,
next to nothing.
you know there's the Locusts, right? Who are the enemies?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The ones that show up from underground and attack humanity completely unwarranted for the first couple of games. And they have a queen, Queen Mira, I believe it is. And oh, just so you know, this is going to be a bit of a spoiler for Gears of War 5, I think it was. Yeah, Gears of War 5. You go to a secret COG facility, and COG is like the military of Gears of War. You know, the
The
gears.
force that the player
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you find out that during the Pendulum Wars, which is a war between two different human armies, one of them is basically Russia, while the COG is basically America. It's not very subtle. The COG creates or tries to.
So what I'm getting out of this is the Cold War if it wasn't nuclear and if it was actually fought with people.
Yeah, and in a different. Actually, there are also like Cold War aspects because The Hammer of Dawn basically ended the Pendulum Wars, which is this world's equivalent to a nuclear weapon, which is just a laser from the sky that can glass entire cities.
Ooh.
But that's what ended the Pendulum Wars. But before that happened, the Cog, or a mad scientist, was experimenting on children who had some sort of disease. And, well, at first it was covered up as being he was trying to treat this disease, but in reality he was trying to create like the super soldier, the next step in human evolution, all that crap. And he created the Locusts.
There's always one.
Yeah, and he created the Locusts, and most of the children he experimented on mutated horribly, which is why the Locusts look quite nasty. If any of you remember how they look.
Yeah, I've got a
Most
rough
I really
idea.
remember. Most
But-
I really remember was I remember playing I don't remember which one it was specifically. It might have been 2, and just kind of gunning them down on a jeep or something,
Yeah,
being chased.
but then there's also the Locust Queen, which always kind of looked human, and everybody was like, "That's kind of weird that their queen looks like a human lady, while they all look like freaks." But the queen was actually also one of these children, but one who took the experiments correctly. Like, basically, she was what they were trying to create, while the others
The
were
success among the failures.
yeah. But she also had a mental link to the others, which is why she became their queen. And the reason why she hates like the Cog and humanity is because of these terrible experiments they did on her and the other children back then. And then there was an escape, and she escaped, and the specimens escaped, and they fled underground, created a civilization, and then eventually Emergence Day happened, and the wars, and the first Gears of War, the story of that. So that it wasn't so much bittersweet as it was like, oh, these aren't just underground monster people who wants to kill humanity for no real reason.
There's actually something to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that.
I did end up, after declaring I couldn't think of one, I did end up thinking of one actually.
Go on.
Oh,
Yeah, a Merle from Sonic Battle. All throughout
Oh.
the game, you build him up and make him stronger and everything. He learns how to speak, interact, even convey emotions, in spite of being a robot. And ultimately, Eggman basically reverts him to his core programming, and it just kind of turns into a world destroyer, basically. And the sad thing is, he's the final boss of the game, with absolutely bonkers attacks and everything. And the scary thing is, you've kind of got to beat him as Sonic, who I would argue is the weakest character in the whole game.
so basically, Sonic Battle takes what is one of the main characters you play as and just makes him the main villain right at the end.
Yeah, it's
Ooh.
done so in a very Sonic-esque fashion. It's not something that feels out of place in the series. The story
Right.
itself was written in a way to be able to take advantage of.
But Chris, have you talked about? Chris, you talked about your favorite, and
Yeah.
I haven't. Well,
But yeah, that was basically what I had to say.
oh, I thought. Sorry, Gary. I thought you were done. If you have any more,
That was pretty much it.
oh, okay. But so Gary, you've talked. I have talked. Well, the thing is, I talked about Gears of War, but that wasn't actually the character I was going to talk about. But
Well,
if you two have
then
any
talk
others,
was
more.
the-
We have more time, surely.
wait, what did you say, Gary?
Then talk more. We have more time, surely.
Oh yeah, we do. Well, the character that is one of my favorite characters of any game ever is of course the merchant from Resident Evil 4. But I like him for reasons that isn't quite obvious from a first glance. Now, I don't know if any of you have played Resident Evil 4. I don't think Gary has.
I haven't.
Chris, did you ever play
I haven't.
Okay, well basically the main enemy of Resident Evil 4 Resident Evil 4 is the game that was like, hey, it's not zombies. This is something that isn't the G virus or the T virus. This is a
Las Plagas.
yeah, exactly, Las Plagas, a parasite that was excreted from fossils, and Umbrella wants this parasite for Umbrella reasons. Uh, but basically, Las Plagas, it goes into your brain, it takes you over, and then you become basically a zombie. You aren't actually a zombie, but you're pretty much a zombie. And a good way of characterize. Oh yeah, Chris.
Yeah, it just reminds me of the fungus that attacks ants. It basically takes over the mind
Oh yeah,
through their nervous system,
yeah, mycelium
makes
or
them
no
makes them
cordyceps.
climb trees, and then explodes.
Yeah, the
spores.
cordyceps fungus. That's what. That's what. Oh, we talked about it like last week or something like that. The Last of Us. That's what the zombies in that game are based on. Cordyceps. But in Resident Evil, basically, it's a parasite. You it takes over you, and a way you can see somebody is infected with it is when they're in darkness, their eyes like red or well yellow reddish, and Leon gets infected by this, and he gets like lapses of becoming a zombie. He tries to kill Ada once, but then she kicks his ass and like, what the fuck you on about? And then he's normal again. And of course, because Leon is also in Resident Evil 6, you know that he gets cured. But
Yeah.
back to the merchant. The merchant has this Las Plagas in him, but he's completely conscious. He speaks normally. He's basically a normal person, but he has this Las Plagas in him. And the only reason why people know this is because his eyes also light orange in certain areas. Which is why I think he's such an interesting character. And you also, at first glance, you think, it's just a game mechanic that's kind of fun. There's this guy, you can buy weapons off him. But it actually kind of makes sense because he's in areas where there are enemies, but they don't attack him.
Do they even acknowledge him?
I think they do. For one reason and one reason only. I don't think the merchant actually wants to help Leon. The merchant, as his name says, is a merchant. He sells weapons. Now, in some of the places he is, he's got like stands filled with RPGs, with machine guns, with a bunch of different weapons, and the Las Plagas people, they sometimes have like RPGs and things like that. Now, I believe that the merchant actually sells the highest bidder, or anybody who was willing to buy from him, which includes Leon and includes the Los Salvadors, I think.
Infected?
Yeah.
Would just be easiest.
Yeah, I guess. In fact, but they do have a name. God, is it the Los Salvadors? No. It doesn't matter.
Careful with space stuff.
In Resident Evil 5, they're named Magini, but I'm fairly sure they function the same.
Gordano. No.
But I can't be certain on that.
They're called Granados, and Dr. Salvador is the chainsaw guy. So, but yeah.
And that's why your wires were crossed.
That's why my wires were crossed. Now, who would like to continue?
Also, I was trying to say, I'm trying to think of any other enemies that have memorable moments.
Memorable moments?
Or
I mean,
just the enemy themselves.
So it's not like misconceptions by people that spawn entire ideas. You know the one I'm thinking of, Chris.
Not currently.
The flying battery boss in Sonic Mania. How until he'd actually beat it, some guy on the internet thought it was actually a little munchkin assistant.
Oh yeah.
He dropped concept art for her and everything.
But god damn it, memorable moments. That's a toughie.
It doesn't even have to be that. I was just thinking that.
I mean, the one that's coming to my mind is Dr. Salvador, who shows up in the village.
Go for it.
He shows up in the village in the start of Resident Evil 4, and it's just very stressful because there are more Granados than you'd normally be able to fight, and you're basically encouraged to run into a house and barricade it and try to hold them off until the church bell rings and then they all retreat. But I remember as a kid, whenever I played that section, I would always get stressed the fuck out because it wasn't scary. It was stressful because he can one shot you.
Survival.
Yeah,
Ah,
and I never did the thing where you can. There's two of them actually, but only one of them is. I think only one of them comes after you, but you can run up to one, and you can throw. You can basically, if you kill one, you get a lot of treasure. If you kill the other, you get something else. And I could never. And I only think I've killed both of them once, and like not easy, but normal. But I usually never try to do that because I'd rather just save my ammunition. And I don't know if it's worth it for a ruby. You don't combine it with anything, any treasures to make them more valuable. So yeah. But I always, I really like that.
Well, you talking, I just remembered Gungrave. Here's the thing. The main character you play as has been resurrected.
Mm-hmm.
But the one who first killed him was his best friend. And they build up this gang. Then it evolved into a mafia state. And basically, the fear of being betrayed by the main character forces them to kill him early. Plain and simple. But being resurrected, he comes back for vengeance. But it's because, not just vengeance, because he's. It's weird because he's resurrected for a purpose, and that's to protect the daughter of the friend. Because I think they were trying to escape his control.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, every boss in that was a member of the original game, and they've either been mutated or given mechanical body parts to fight.
I see. And that was Gungrave?
that was
Yeah.
done great.
Okay.
I have mentioned it in the past.
Well, then I probably have the picture in a folder. But I'll actually, me and Gary quickly talked with Peter. So I'm going to try.
That we did.
I'm going to try to put up a game every time we mention it, even if we have mentioned it before. So
Yeah, I think it was mentioned to put up. We look for our own game cases
yeah.
or images.
Game cover
I mean,
artwork.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you were going to say.
I'm just trying to think what games have had a good boss, enemy, something that stuck with you. It is quite difficult when you suddenly start thinking of them.
Games that have had a good boss in it. Like, I just almost want to list like every Sonic. I'm gonna say secret final boss. It's more of last story bosses.
Oh, like when Sonic killed the president?
That was Shadow, and technically no.
Holy
but also,
shit! I was just taking the piss, but okay.
Shadow the Hedgehog is a weird game.
He has guns.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? We might play Shadow the Hedgehog. Might be in Steam.
At some point, maybe. At some point, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
I know the ones you're thinking of, like Perfect Chaos.
Yeah, exactly. Like, thanks for spoiling it for Danny, by the way. I don't know. I suppose the one that stuck with me the most, just if I had to pick one out of Sonic, was the Bio Lizard in Sonic Adventure 2. It's technically the final boss, but it's also like the boss before that. And initially, you've got this gimmick where you rail grind up its face, and then it stops allowing you to do that, so it summons little floating eggs that you bounce off of, and then it decides, fuck this, I'm not going to give him a chance. So it changes the gravity, and you kind of have to wade into towards its weak spot with shifted gravity. And man, try doing that. Like, try figuring that out as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only boss I can think of that really like caught me off guard was the final boss in Half-Life, the Nephilim. In the area of Sen, I think it was called. Basically, I remember as a kid being like, this is the biggest enemy in any game I've ever played. And it was huge. You couldn't get to it. It was flying, and you could and it has this cool mechanic of where after you've done a certain amount of damage, it teleports you to different areas where you have to escape into other portals to return to the actual boss fight. I really liked it. That's I mean, I also really like the design of all the Dark Souls. and Bloodborne bosses, but the Nephilim from Half-Life is the one that really sticks out. That's like, it might have been, well, no, it probably wasn't the first boss I ever fought. Or it might have been. I don't know, but it's definitely the first one I can remember. So
That's fair.
Oh, thinking about it, because I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles, I've had I would almost say pleasure of facing Metal Face, but damn, that guy's nasty. You won't know what happens, but basically he attacks Shulk colony home.
yeah.
Basically, he does kill a few people. You notice they're gone easily.
Friendly reminder that that's a Nintendo game, people.
Oh god, then we can't talk
Yeah.
about it. Mr. Nintendo is gonna come after us.
No, it's more of
Ah, yes.
Nintendo tends to be a bit more youth friendly.
Well, yeah, they tend to be more, youth friendly, like Mario and stuff.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of people who die in Mario games.
There are in Metroid.
Yeah, I guess so.
oh yeah.
God, I want to play Metroid. I only played one Metroid at some point, long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away, judging on the sound of it being Metroid.
Well,
I think
But
I
it's certainly
have
not from around here.
seen some Metroid gameplay, and I can't remember what generation it was on.
the thing is,
Um,
oh, go on, Gary.
I was just gonna say, Chris, maybe you were thinking of the fact that I've got Metroid Prime 2 casually tucked away in one of my random game storage spots.
What console was that on?
That was on the GameCube.
The thing is, I don't even remember what I played it on. I remember I played it as a kid because in my school we had like an after school thing, like a place that kids would go until their parents were done working. They come pick you up. And I remember they had a Nintendo 64 there. I don't know if that's what I played it on. They also had some other consoles. That's also where I played Mario Kart.
I don't think there was a 3D Metroid game until the GameCube in the form of Metroid Prime. So chances are you probably played one on the Super Nintendo.
That might have been. I really can't remember. This is like
Years and years ago.
I was less than 10, so yes.
Yeah, that's kind of why I brought that out as a thing. Unless they did have a GameCube there and you played that, but
They could have. I really don't. That's also where I played Diablo because they also had PCs.
Oh, how much time we got left?
Oh shit. Well, we should probably start wrapping up here.
That sounds like
Start wrapping up here. Whoa, words of wisdom.
Yes, words of wisdom. God, I've got so
There
many.
cannot be a darkness without light, and there cannot be light without darkness.
Yes.
Going in for the deep ones again, I see. Okay.
I'm just at the bar high for you two, just to make it a bit extra awkward.
No, actually, I was just trying to think of the way to articulate mine.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the next time you're facing enemies in games, even if it's just generic mooks, why don't you think what struggles have put them in that position in the first? Because you don't know, and it might be fun. You might be able to come out of an entire plot line leading up to when you eventually take down Thug A.
Generic guard number B.
Yeah, exactly.
Number B? What? No, don't fuck me.
No, Danny, that was right. That was right. That was perfectly normal. Don't draw attention to it.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right. Yes. Oh God. Is that all your words of wisdoms?
That was ours.
That's
you haven't done
mine.
yours.
And Gary's.
No, we've
Wait for you, Daddy.
No, I think we've done all of them. I think we've done all of them.
Danny, you didn't do one.
Fine. Anal. Remember when you do anal to have a clean asshole.
Did you just call us an asshole?
And on that note, thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, join the Twitter, join the Discord, ring the bell button, and hope you enjoyed. And
Comment below what your favorite enemies in games are.
Yeah, write a comment about enemies and stuff in the comic sections. And everybody say goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So long and thanks for all that. No, I'm not one of those dolphins. Goodbye, people.